Alberta Primetime with Michael Higgins.
Welcome to Alberta Primetime. Ahead tonight, our politics panel on what new polling says about newcomers to our province and shared values. But first, a flourish of federal leaders.
The era of Ottawa telling Alberta to pay up and shut up must end once and for all.
From campaigning to figuring out the art of flipping pancakes, politicians of all stripes have been making the most of this year's Calgary Stampede in the wake of a federal election that has left a lot of questions unanswered. And fresh off his visit to Calgary, Don Davies, interim leader of the federal NDP. Mr. Davies, welcome to Alberta Primetime.
It's great to be with you, Michael.
All right, maybe as a starting point, we just saw a clip of you there at Stampede. What did the experience open your eyes to from a political standpoint? What's your quick takeaway?
Well, like I said, I'm an Edmonton boy, and I was a Klondike Days person, so that was my first visit ever to the Calgary Stampede. It was a fabulous event. You know, the spirit in that town, the ability to connect with people, meet them where they're at, and in a very fun environment was great. And it was an exciting time to be in Calgary and a good chance to learn about what people are thinking and saying in Alberta.
Well, and now I have to think a lot of the conversation revolved around the federal election, the reduction of your caucus to 7 NDP MPs, loss of official party status. A lot to reflect on in the wake of the election. What's your approach to finding answers, finding a way forward?
Well, there's no question it was a tough election for the federal NDP. There's no sugarcoating it, but there's a lot of great opportunity, I think, in front of us. So there's a real chance for us to connect with Canadians from coast to coast to coast and reimagine what a progressive federal option looks like for Canadians. And, you know, that entails looking backwards and figuring out what caused us to get to the point we're at. But more importantly, it allows us to enter into a discussion about what ideas we have for the path forward. And in that, I'm really looking forward to engaging with people across the country and building a really strong NDP. You know, one thing I heard during the election, Michael, is Canadians don't want a US-style two-party system. One of the strengths of our democracy is we have, you know, a multiplicity of parties, a diversity of views, and I think that makes our governance stronger. So people want a strong NDP, and look forward to engaging with people to help determine what that looks like.
Jagmeet Singh announced his resignation on election night. You're filling the gap in the interim. So where does that leave the timeline for finding a new leader?
Well, our federal council is meeting as right now, actually. They started meetings a few weeks ago, and they're engaging in the process now. They will set the rules for the new leadership race. I anticipate it'll start sometime in the fall. And I know there's already several candidates who are starting to organize. So it's going to be an exciting time, I think, for the NDP federally to do that rebuilding process and see where we want to take our party in the 21st century.
You touched on your Edmonton roots a moment ago, so I'll ask, what do you make of grassroots support pushing Edmonton MP Heather McPherson to make a run for leadership? There's even a website up and running, the work of former colleagues and friends.
Yeah, well, I was with Heather at Stampede, and I've worked with her for a number of years now, and she's an excellent parliamentarian. She's a great representative and champion of Alberta and for our country. And if she does decide to run, I think she's going to be an excellent candidate.
Now, given your role in fronting the party the past several weeks, what do you feel will be needed most in your next leader if your party is to recover beyond the blow of the last election?
Well, you know, we've just started a review and renewal process, and that's led by Emily Taman, who is a human rights and labor lawyer, a longtime party activist. She's been a candidate for us and a person of real integrity. So I don't really want to prejudge all of the ideas and thoughts that are going to come from our membership, from progressive allies, from stakeholders. But I think one thing that I've identified, Michael, that I think is clear to everybody is that we want to strengthen our relationship with working people in this country. And that means meeting working people where they're at and listening to them. And for instance, at Stampede, I got a real chance to do that and talk to a lot of different people from a lot of different occupations and professions in Alberta, and hear how their lives are, and understand what their aspirations are and what their thoughts are. And so I think that it's critical for the NDP moving forward that we reconnect with our roots. We're a party that began in 1961 by working people, for working people, and I think returning to that fundamental root is really important for the path forward.
We heard the clip of Pierre Poilievre off the top, the federal Conservative leader pursuing a return to Parliament through our province. How much effort will your party put into the fight for Battle River Crowfoot?
Well, we have an excellent candidate nominated, Catherine Swampy. She's an Indigenous leader. She's a community activist, and she's up and running already. You know, every election, whether it's a by-election or a general election, is a chance for Canadians to have their say. And I think it's really important that they always have a choice. You know, we're a democracy, we're a proud, long-standing democracy, and where people get to choose who governs them. And it's a chance to have a debate about different policies and pass forward. So I very much respect Mr. Poilievre, and I know the kinds of policies he's going to champion. We're going to be bringing forth some different ideas for the people of Battle River Crowfoot, and we look forward to a rigorous campaign and giving people a chance of their say.
Okay, and maybe just to finish, New Democrats having a chance to say, we'll give you a question from a provincial perspective. Where do things stand with your counterparts here in Alberta, the Alberta NDP? What does the conversation with Naheed Nenshi look like on the contentious issue of Alberta NDP severing its ties with your party?
Well, I had a chance to meet with Mr. Nenshi, and I had a chance to meet with a lot of NDP MLAs when I was in Calgary, and I can tell you I think it's very healthy to have a discussion about the relationship between provincial and the federal sections, you know, and I understand that they resolved that at their convention. What I think is really important is that we share the same general goals. You know, we want to build a strong Canada. We want to build strong family-sustaining jobs. We want a good healthcare system. We want to have a united, a strong response to the threats coming from south of the border. And Mr. Nenshi and my colleagues in the Alberta NDP, we share those. So we're looking forward to working together to build a stronger Alberta in a stronger Canada, and one that works better for all Canadians. You know, the NDP is about fairness. We're a wealthy country. We have a lot to be proud of, and we want to make sure that all Canadians have a chance to share in that.
All right, we'll have to leave it there for time. I appreciate your time this evening, Mr. Davies. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Don Davies is interim leader of the federal NDP.